Volume 8 has just recently started, and of course, like with every new season of RWBY, I want to talk about it. Despite it apparently only taking place over the course of 2 days, it is already clear that so much is going to happen, going off the first episode and intro alone. And to start things off, I'm collaborating with another RWBY YouTuber, Myrkuri. He had a pretty interesting theory about his favorite character, Mercury Black, and what's going to happen with him and Emerald.
Thanks for letting me collab with you. We wanted to collaborate for a long time now. We didn't know what to talk about until now. We do both love Mercury, so we figured this would be a great thing to talk about before a lot happens with them this volume.
I actually did make a Mercury theory video a while back, since I became really interested in him as a character ever since I watched the lyric video to The One. That one covered a lot of different ideas about his semblance and how he can possibly get it back.
And I liked him because he was a jerk. Well, just at first. And eventually I came to love his fighting style and everything else about him.
Now with all that said, let's get into this theory video.
Objectively speaking, Mercury and Emerald have always been two of the most interesting characters in RWBY. And now, in Volume 8, they finally get a change of clothes.
Emerald now wears Gucci, which we can only presume was found in the whale. And Hazel, who isn't too important to this theory but should still be mentioned, decided Atlas was the best place to bring out the summer wear.
Let's be real. It's so we don't have to watch him rip his clothes off again. That leaves us with Mercury, who has an amazing new look. Honestly, I like to think that it might be symbolic of him starting to learn more about himself and becoming a bit more of his own person.
Not to mention the addition of his keychain, which actually has some references to real-life Mercury stuff. It reads M80495. The name is for Mercury, as you could probably guess. And according to a post which I'll link in the description, 80 is the atomic number for the element of Mercury. And finally, 495 is the year when the Temple of Mercury, a building in Rome, was built. These numbers probably don't have any meaning to Mercury in the show, and just exist as an Easter egg for the viewers. Though it would be interesting if there was some significance to it that was later revealed.
My guess is that's the number of times Marcus hit him.
Ouch.
Anyways, Emerald and Mercury have a very unique role in the story that gets highlighted most blatantly in Lost. With their return in Volume 8, it seems likely that they're going to be exploring each of the topics brought up in that episode, just not with each other around.
In Lost, Mercury and Emerald both bring up very personal issues that have yet to be addressed. Emerald discusses how she's only there because Cinder cares about her, and Mercury says he stays because he believes he's right where he's supposed to be.
The theory is as follows. I believe Mercury and Emerald are going to be splitting up this volume, only to realize on their own that everything they thought was true about themselves was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but the important things they ranted about.
The basis for this theory is the new opening we got for Volume 8, where Emerald is split up from Mercury and vice versa, as well as how Cinder has treated Emerald so far in Volume 8, combined with what Mercury said in Lost. In the opening, you see Emerald standing alone with Neo as she watches Cinder ignore her, which makes her upset. Meanwhile, you see Mercury alone with Hazel and Tyrion. Now this has a lot of people worried, but we are sure things will still work out in the end.
We have good reason to think that the pair will split and have both of them face their own fears and things they said about themselves while away from each other.
For Emerald, she spent the past 2 volumes crying when Cinder was gone, defending her actions and how she acted to Mercury, and was even willing to fight Tyrion when he made a casual remark about Cinder not being there. Fast forward to Volume 8, the first thing Cinder does when Emerald meets her is tell her to be quiet. Now it's clear that Emerald isn't right in her belief that Cinder cares about her, but it's important to realize that Emerald has yet to learn that for herself. With Neo being around and also being tired of Cinder's disrespect, it might finally hit her that she's been wrong about Cinder this entire time. And honestly, it's been a long time coming.
As for Mercury, he spends Volume 4 being angry at Watts for the short time he was in Volume 4. He gets told by Raven he's just a kid tricked into following Cinder in Volume 5, and then spent all of Volume 6 terrified while being inside of Evernight and being mad at Tyrion. Nevertheless, he still tries to convince the viewers back home and Marcus's ghost that he was actually a big bad guy just like the others. So, when he splits off with Tyrion and Hazel in this volume, and sees what these guys can actually do in action, it might make him realize he's not where he's meant to be at all. For example, I think Tyrion's going to fight and kill the Aesops this year. Or at least 2 of them. If Mercury sees that happen in front of his eyes in a really sadistic way, that might be enough to make him realize he's not cut out for working with Salem after all.
Eventually, we think that they'll reunite when the pairs get together again. Once they do, Emerald and Mercury will finally be able to talk to each other and realize that their ideas about themselves that they spoke about in Lost weren't actually true, and they'll probably ditch Salem together. Maybe they'll even try to run away, and Tyrion attempts to kill them, but Hazel steps in and protects them for long enough to let them get to safety. And you might ask, why would Hazel protect them? Well, he's been shown to care for them, at least Emerald for sure. He might really want to protect the two, who remind him of Gretchen, young kids who got into something that they weren't ready for, which is something that he couldn't do for his sister. After that, who knows what the kids will get into in Volume 9 and later. Maybe explore Bakuo?
Now, there are a few questions and complaints people might have with this theory. The major one being, but Mercury seems fine being a bad guy. Well, let's just highlight all the moments he was around other bad guys in Evernight. In the very first episode of Volume 4, the first shot we see is of Mercury being very angry inside Evernight. He's shown to be wanting to fight Watts, and he doesn't seem too pleased by what Salem's saying. Fast forward to the last episode of Volume 4, and you see Mercury glaring at Cinder. To me, that doesn't look like he's having a great time. Now, fast forward to the next time he's in Evernight. He looks quite upset that Tyrion's there, and goes as far as to yell at him to back off a few moments later. Doesn't seem like he's working out too well with him. Fast forward a bit more and, you guessed it, he's still scared. And then fast forward to the big episode Lost, where he says he's right where he's supposed to be, only to have Tyrion call him out on that a few moments later. And then one last time in the finale, where, once more, he's scared. An important thing to note is Mercury most absolutely lied. He's trying to convince himself he's where he's supposed to be because, as Tyrion said, he doesn't know anything else other than violence. So, no. I don't think Mercury actually understands what it entails to be one of Salem's lieutenants, and while he's most certainly a jerk, I don't think he's enough of one to want to stay with Salem.
And some people might argue that Cinder and Emerald's relationship isn't that bad, so there's no way Emerald would leave. Well, all you really have to do is look at her ignore Emerald's attempt at a hug in Volume 2, and her slapping Emerald in Volume 3 to realize that isn't the case.
We don't need him. Everything was going fine. Ugh! Do not mistake your place.
Cinder has abused Emerald for years, and now it's become even more apparent with Volume 8.
Finally, some people seem to think that Emerald is more likely to leave, whereas Mercury wouldn't. This ignores the fact that Mercury has literally never went anywhere without Emerald. He even tags along in Volume 2 just because he enjoys being with her. Or in Volume 5, he doesn't leave Haven until he's sure she's safe. The only moment they're not somewhere close by is in Volume 3, where Mercury meets RWBY in the hallway as Emerald is in the stands preparing to cause a hallucination for Pyrrha. They're pretty much a package deal, not to mention that it would be very hard for Emerald to just straight up leave without Cinder stopping her.
So we think there's a lot of reason to believe this is going to be the volume where Emerald and Mercury both really learn a lot about themselves and what they want to do going forward into the show. And if that requires them splitting apart for a bit, well, then I'm all for it.
I don't think there's any need to worry about them dying this year or Mercury staying a bad guy. I have very high hopes this year.
This is going to be a great volume for sure, and I would like to give a big thank you to Mercury for joining me in this theory video. Where can people find you?
My YouTube channel. I imagine there'll be a link in the description to check it out.
There will be. He makes some awesome AMVs, as well as very good analysis video from time to time. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, and subscribe to the channel for more RWBY videos. Deepcut might actually start making videos for the show soon, which means a ton more videos about RWBY. Thanks for watching!